Hello Gemini Sun Sign and Gemini Ascendant. This is your forecast for June of 2016. And this month kicks off with a fantastic astrological configuration known as a grand trine, which is a fancy word for a triangle. So if you can visualize a triangle with a planet on each angle, that's what it is, and it denotes opportunities. However, it does require that you take action. It's just not going to fall in your lap. So let's take a look at this. So you got Mercury in your 12th, making a trine to Jupiter in your 4th, making a trine to Pluto in your 8th. So these are water houses. And so water has to do with emotion and intuition. So the big thing with this energy is that I see that your intuitive abilities can be quite powerful this month, but it's going to be tricky for you because Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is typically very analytical, very logical, and intuition does not fall underneath that umbrella. It's kind of an otherworldly kind of information, and it's like, where the heck did that come from? How does that make any sense? So here's just my take on intuition. It's your soul's eagle-eyed vision of the big picture that may not make sense in the moment, but it will later down the road. So what I would say for you is to trust your gut, trust your instincts. If you have some kind of intuitive hit with this information, don't discard it because it doesn't make sense in the moment. Think about it, maybe even write it down, research it, give it a chance, in other words, okay? This definitely is going to help you get more clarity about the bigger picture in your life and to help you figure out what steps you need to take. So for instance, if you've been stuck on something, this energy is going to help you to really see into the inner workings of what's really going on. So again, I would actually encourage you to work on being more intuitive and to, again, trust in your intuition. Okay, now let's talk about some more challenging things. So the Sun makes an opposition to Saturn. And this month the Sun is in your first house. And again, making that opposition to Saturn. So opposition is 180 degrees between two planets, and you can visualize a tug of war kind of energy going on, and Saturn's in your 7th house of relationships. So just to summarize it, it's a yin and yang kind of energy, me against the world sort of. And I would say with any opposition, the key is compromise. The key is finding that happy middle ground where both parties can say, okay, I can deal with that. But it's tricky because, okay, so oppositions, this is how I think of them. They're symbolized by the symbol for Libra, which is a symbol of the scales, of balance. And with this energy, you can swing one way or the other. This is what I really want, or, oh, it's not important, I'll just deal with it. So here's the deal. Don't cave. Don't give in to other people's demands completely. But yet at the same time, what I would say is that it is absolutely imperative that you do look at the other person's perspective, that you see where they're coming from, and again, try to find balance with what you want versus what they want. And the reason I'm stressing this so much is the Sun is in the first house, which means that sometimes it's so easy for you to see what you want, what you need, how you view things, so you can be real passionate about your own unique perspective. And if you're too stubborn, it could cause problems in your relationship. So the 7th house is people in your inner circle, your true friends, and if you're in a relationship, your partner. So just be careful with that. Really, if you can work that out, it looks like you're going to have a very fulfilling month because both sides, yourself and the other people, are happy. So again, be careful. Here's another thing. Venus is aligned with the Sun and is also making an opposition to Saturn. So this is definitely, usually with Venus, it symbolizes love. So again, if you're in a relationship, it can certainly imply that there can be some communication issues going on, or you feel like your partners are not really there for you, or they're cold or something like that. What I'd like to say is don't freak out, don't panic. This isn't going to last very long as far as this energy goes. Okay, I would say really after the first 7 days, it'll start decreasing slowly but surely. Okay, so don't make mountains out of molehills with any issues going on in your relationship right now. Having said that, Saturn is indeed in your 7th house for a while, so it looks like there is things going on with your relationships where you need to be stronger. You need to lay your cards on the table just in general and deal with relationship issues. So really, you have to work at relationship things and ask yourself, is this relationship working for me, or is this hopeless? But first of all, make sure you're doing your best to make it work. Okay, now let's look at this. Jupiter is making a square to Saturn, and that is for the entire month. Again, Saturn's in your 7th house, relationships. Jupiter is in your 4th, and these two planets could not be more different. Saturn is about how you're restricted, how you're held back, but also it can tell me where you're weak. Okay, what part of your life needs to be stronger? Again, relationships. And Jupiter in the 4th. Okay, wait a minute. Jupiter itself is where you're blessed. Okay, so you got these two planets making a square aspect, a 90-degree angle, and that is all about almost like one foot on the gas and one on the brake. And so with your love life, yet again, it can indicate that there are communication issues. It's kind of a hot and cold energy that you have with your relationships, because what I see here is sometimes you can feel really good about things or hopeful, and other times I see you feeling very sad or depressed and even hopeless about relationships. So what I see with this energy, you have to not get too down and not too up. You just keep it real. Again, it's kind of like keeping your feet on the ground and finding that middle path. Okay, I'm working through this. It's not perfect, but it's not horrible. Okay, so relationships are a big challenge for you this month. So hear me clearly. I'm not saying it's impossible or hopeless. I'm just saying that's where you're gonna in a lot of ways feel like a strong sense of not being fulfilled. Okay, so just work at it. Saturn's all about working through things patiently, methodically, and it's definitely not about giving up. Okay, now you're going to have a new moon in your own sign in Gemini on June 4th in your 1st house. So this is pretty cool. New moons are about new beginnings. In the 1st house, new beginnings. So you got a double energy there. So this is definitely about you taking action in your life. If you've been making plans and not really taking action on them, or let's say you've been a perfectionist with your plans, this is definitely a time to stop thinking and a time to start doing. Don't be a perfectionist. You'll figure it out as you go along, but this energy just demands that you get started. So another thing this is about is just being confident, believing in yourself. Don't doubt yourself. Again, get started. And lastly, this is one of the houses of health, and this is a really good time, this whole month, a really good time to get yourself in shape in particular. And that's a good segue actually, because Mars is going to go direct on June 29th, and it's in the other house of health, the 6th house. So if you've been ignoring any health issues or just not dealing with them in any way, this energy helps you to move forward. So again, direct means the planet's not moving backward. It's finally figured things out, so to speak, in whatever area of your life, which for you is health, and you figure out a way. This is how I'm going to deal with it. This is the approach I'm going to take. But Mars, and again, this new moon in the 1st house is all about taking action, having a plan, and passionately launching it. Okay, so again, just to summarize things, find balance between your needs and others. Be determined to work through relationship issues, and lastly, work upon being healthier in some way. And also, even if you're already physically fit, this is saying that physical fitness, besides the obvious physical benefits, it's just very soothing, very cathartic for you, just to get your heart beating. breaking a sweat and living in the moment. You're in the moment, you know, and so you're not thinking about what's troubling you or what's bothering you. So it's good for the soul. Okay, so with that being said, I hope you have a great month, and I'll talk to you next month. Bye bye.